A Wisconsin mom continues to question Minnesota's juvenile justice system after losing her son to a drag racer. It was Easter Sunday in 2021 when Dalton Ford and his girlfriend Taylor Garza were struck by Leon Bond in Burnsville. Investigators found Bond was driving 114 miles per hour, drag racing his sister in another vehicle just seconds before the crash. A shocking update to the case next. Veronica Ford is my guest, Dalton's mom. Thank you so much for, again, speaking out on all of this. Again, truly sorry for everything you've been through and continue to go through in this case, Veronica.
Well, Liz, thank you. And again, our family and Taylor's mom and dad, Brandon and Kristen, truly appreciate the fact that you have stayed involved with this and concerned with it, and we're forever grateful. We feel that the story needs to be told because still to this day, we're coming up to the third fall without them here, and what's happening and decisions that are made, still our jaws drop, that we are just astounded that what happened and what continues to happen is okay.
Yeah, astounding is certainly an understatement. So Alpha News featured some of your frustrations about what's been allowed to happen in these more than 2 years since that have passed. But I know, was just a court hearing involving Leon Bond, again, the driver that killed your son and his girlfriend. Just explain what happened.
Well, yesterday we were scheduled to go back to court at 9 a.m. for a review hearing. With the juvenile system, they are required to report and go face-to-face with the judge. The prosecuting attorney with Dakota County let us know the day before that a release date for Leon was going to be suggested by probation. As of right now, he is supposed to stay at Red Wing until his 21st birthday, which is June 23rd, 2024. So we got the order the day before letting us know that probation has requested a release date of September 29th, so 9 days, that he has fulfilled the long-term program that he was required to do. Originally, it was told to us that it was a 9 to 12-month program. He finished it in 8. And as of right now, he has completely finished the long-term program in 8 months, and Red Wing can offer him no more. The judge yesterday let us know that with the juvenile side, it has nothing to do with punitive. It is all about rehabilitation. So nothing was ever brought up about justice for Dalton and Taylor or justice for us or the Garza family or the whole community of Prescott, truly.
Which seems to be basically a theme through this entire tragedy. So just to point out, Bond was 80 days shy of his 18th birthday when this all happened back in 2021. And it was, at the time, retiring Dakota County Judge Joseph Carter ruled against certifying Leon Bond as an adult for the crimes. I know there's a lot more to the story about what was included, but more importantly, what was not when it came to making that decision. All of these red flags about things in his past. But essentially, you're saying at the end of the month here, he is allowed to go home.
He is going home. He has minimal restrictions, in our opinion. The prosecuting attorney did want that he have a job. They wanted him to have trauma therapy. So that is going to be offered to him. And they did want to make sure that he had an ankle bracelet on for hopefully the remaining time up until his 21st birthday. But the judge ruled that he will have a GPS ankle monitor, may not be the full 90 days until our next review hearing with him, which will be December 19th, 2023, it will be up to corrections to decide whether or not that monitor be released, which then there is no way of tracking his whereabouts. So most everything that we were hoping to get to watch or be aware of his ins and outs over the next 8 months until his 21st birthday were denied.
Bond's sister, Camille Bond, was 19 at the time. It's documented that she immediately blamed the victims after the crash happened, showing no remorse on the scene. That came up in her trial. Ultimately, a jury found her guilty. Talk about her sentence in this case.
Well, sitting in that courtroom when it came time after the jury found her guilty, corrections and, probation, corrections, and the Dakota County attorney wanted 25 years. It should have been 25 years for Dalton and 25 years for Taylor, but they did ask for 25 years. In the ruling, Judge Worminger made a statement more than once that depending on, or looking at the fact that Camille just missed the back of Dalton's car, she came within inches, he really struggled with giving her the full amount of time that they were looking to have her go behind bars, based on the fact that Leon, who actually made contact with Dalton and Taylor, will likely never see a day behind bars. So that is why he went from the 25-year recommendation to 15 years, basically because Leon was certified as a juvenile.
Wow. So for more background, too, I know, as you've said, it was right up until the 10th of January, just this last January, that you were headed for a jury trial. Would have been the very first jury trial for a juvenile in Dakota County. But all along, he was innocent. He did nothing wrong. He pled guilty that day and was sentenced January 23rd to start this program.
That's one thing that we're struggling with is he admitted guilt the 10th of January, sentenced the 23rd of January, which would have been our first jury trial day. And it would have been Dakota County's very first juvenile trial that would have ever taken place. But seeing, of course, that his sister was found guilty by a jury, he pled guilty to the murder of Dalton and Taylor. He was transferred down to Red Wing January 31st. So his first real day of programming, I would say, would be February 1st. And, I mean, you do the math. It's 8 months. And we struggle with what type of programming can be given to a juvenile who admits a double murder in 8 months to be rehabilitated, when up until the 10th of January, he was still innocent. They were still blaming Dalton and Taylor. They were not taking responsibility at all. So I've asked Red Wing. I've reached out to them, and I'm still corresponding with them because I would like it explained to me what programming he received above and beyond a juvenile that is sitting down there right next to him for vandalism. There has to be something more provided to a juvenile who took 2 lives. I haven't gotten an answer yet, but you know me, Liz. You know how focused I am on this. I'm still going to keep asking the questions.
I know through all of your pain, you still wanted to thank the men and women of the Burnsville Police Department recently, which I think is remarkable. But talk about that.
The first phone call that we received that night was from Pat Gilligan, and he was the lead investigator. And he has just been nothing short of amazing through all of this. Burnsville busted their butts getting all of the evidence, and it took them 6 months to get all the crash reconstruction, the witnesses, the testimony. Pat reached out to us, and it was so important to them that he hand-delivered the file to the Dakota County Attorney's Office. He did not want to take the chance of it getting lost. That's how important this case was to the Burnsville Police Department. At Dalton and Taylor's joint funeral, I grew up in Prescott, graduated from here. You know, the last day that we spent with Dalton and Taylor was my dad's funeral, which you know. And my dad was a pillar in the community. And in the receiving line, we see out of the corner of our eye, you know, police officers dressed in uniform. And we just assumed it was Prescott, the Prescott Police Department coming through, paying their condolences. And when they got up to us, it was Burnsville. Wow. Many of the first responders that day came, and they told us that they wanted to see Dalton and Taylor in a different light, is basically what they shared with us. So I and us and Brandon and Kristen, it was lunch. You know, we took them lunch, and we got to talk to a lot of them that were on scene, and they held back tears talking to us on Monday. This case, we were told by quite a few of them, this was probably the worst case that many of them have ever worked on. Mm-hmm. And having lunch brought to them, honestly, we wish we could do more. And they were so grateful. The chief of police came out, she hugged me, she was just, they're wonderful people. They worked really, really hard for Dalton and Taylor. And honestly, having Leon released in this short period of a time, I mean, we believe it's a slap in the face to the Burnsville Police Department for all of the work that they put into this case. And it's not justice, Liz. It's not justice in any way.
And on that note, Veronica, what can people do? I think it's a question we get a lot here, and I'm sure you hear as well. People almost feel helpless. They don't fully understand this, I think, until they're a victim or someone they know is. And what does this just say as you're talking about Minnesota's so-called justice system?
You're right. Until you are in this, you have no idea. And it shocks us to this day what we've had to go through to even get copies of policies and procedures from Dakota County Corrections. It should be made available. We have fought, and the 3 changes that we wanted to have put in place regarding the juvenile certification process. And one thing we did find out, there are 87 counties in the state of Minnesota. None of them have the same process when certifying a juvenile. So we fought, and we fought hard, and Dakota County Corrections, the 3 changes that we asked them to make, they made. They sent us the new policies. Any person and I hope no one should ever belong to this club. I mean, and regardless, yes, we lost our children, but if you lose somebody and you feel that questions need to be asked, ask the questions. Keep digging. Honestly, it's how and Jim and I and Brandon and Kristen, it's partially how we're coping through this, is each time I turned another page, I had another question. And it was just, you don't know until you're in it. And that's why they probably haven't liked me too terribly much. Jim and I and Brandon and Kristen have reached out to Patty Wetterling through asking for guidance through some of this. And I remember she shared with me, she said, Veronica, Stearns County did not like me. She said, it is totally okay to not have Dakota County like you, because you're asking questions that they're really not too forthcoming in answering. So I just keep asking.
And you keep asking this to our lawmakers as well, and that's really where a lot of this has to change in St. Paul, doesn't it?
Representative Hudson, who had reached out to us, he has been emailing me back. It sounds like there are some changes that might go in front of the state come February, and he wants to continue to share the tragedy, the complete injustice that is happening here with two siblings equally guilty. One couldn't have done it without the other. The one that actually made impact is out in 240 days with no discipline, no, society. He's just going to get put back out. He'll have to remain employed. They were ordered to pay restitution because at the time that Dalton and Taylor were murdered, he had graduated Dunwoody and he had outstanding student loans. The restitution, they are both ordered to pay, but past that, if Leon gets his restitution, his portion of it, he's free and clear if he keeps his nose clean right up until his 21st birthday. And it's like it never happened. I mean, that's how we look at it. It's like you can get away with murder in the state of Minnesota. Clearly, we're living it because he didn't, there was no punitive. It was all rehabilitating him. And we hope we're wrong, or we don't wish this upon another family at all. And we hope that Leon is rehabilitated and can go back out and the public can be safe, but time will tell. We'll just have to see what happens.
Veronica Ford, we are grateful for your time and for this fight that you continue to be in. Your perseverance and your strength is really incredible. Thank you.
Thank you. And there are times that I know I have two angels looking down, pushing the buttons. I'll keep pushing and prodding until I think I can't find another answer. So, but no, Liz, again, we're very grateful for you continuing to fight this fight with us. So we're not done yet.
Yes, much more to do. Veronica, thank you again so much.
Thank you.
And that will do it for this episode of Liz Collin Reports. We'll see you next time.